Scorpios tend to have a really hard life. We are in control of death and rebirth and recycling and transformation. And that's a really complicated process. It's really unknown. We don't know much about the process in which we birth from, yet we are birth and death. We are the cycle of life. The sign of Scorpio has been through trauma, and it's our job collectively to enlighten others of trauma and darkness. We seem dark, we seem cold sometimes. We don't get acknowledged for our loving loyalty type of nature where we can fixate and obsess and passionately go after what we desire with all of our hearts because we love so deeply, and others may not understand where we're coming from because we're way deep at the bottom of the ocean, right? We're intense. Our vibration is too hard for many people to handle. And a lot of the times, this brings us our tower moments. This brings us to a place where we're experiencing the process of death and rebirth. It's like people come in and out of our lives and they seem unhurt or unscathed. I don't know if that's a word, but like we seem like the ones that carry the trauma and the burden because of the immense amount of strength that we have to be as deep as we are. We're not dark, we're not bad, we're not evil. You know the story of Maleficent, if you've seen that movie, where, she's this beautiful fairy and has all this magical power. Her human boyfriend, falls in love with her and then betrays her. And like she turns into Maleficent, evil lady, but she's not evil. She's not evil. She's getting what he fucked up her life, right? He lied to her. And it's like she's turned into the bad guy because she has wings and she's different and she whatever. It's like the human part, the human, which is the other, the non-Scorpio, is often depicted as the good guy, and the Scorpio can often be deemed as the bad guy. And sometimes we do sting. We do react a little poorly and aggressively and vendetta like. We sometimes because we're constantly playing chess in our minds. We are constantly in a state of being born and dying within all the relationships and every aspect of our psyche within ourselves. So it's not just an external event, it's happening inside of us, and many people don't understand that. If they don't have Scorpio or that type of energy, it's difficult to understand. It's so mysterious, it's so unknown, and it's really, really complicated for people to dive into. And I feel like collectively, the sign of Scorpio, we have to come to the understanding that this is our element. Our element is darkness. We can't see. We don't know. We have no clue, but it's comfortable. We have the ability to dive all the way to the bottom of whatever dynamic we're in, whatever situation, and see deeply into it without feeling maybe the sense of darkness that others would, because darkness is our element. It's not because darkness is bad. Darkness is just as important as light. We need both elements in order to have light. We wouldn't even know what light was without darkness. And it's the opposite, the unknown part of that, where it's difficult for people to realize how much we love, how much we go deep within ourselves to give. Like, we will literally take our heart out, like rip it out and just hand it to someone. Like, here you go. Love me. I love you. Love me. And we just will give and give and give and give. And then when others, like, the other problem with that is we have the ability to understand the illusions, the delusions, the paranoia and the jealousy, the ways that our minds can create delusions, literally like mental health, like illness, like mental illness. Our minds, our psyches have the ability to dissect and understand mental illness, being drawn to psychology, or like the Joker, right? And Split, those movies, we're drawn to that energy because we are that energy. It's not bad, it's not dark. That's what society has labeled it. Society doesn't understand the energy, so they label it dark and bad. And we associate bad with dark. But instead, if we could embrace and acknowledge that we're all a part of this ecosystem, that we can't just throw out what we want to throw out and label what we want to label, we can realize we have the ability to build a new way. So it's like the problem to date is the Scorpio doesn't understand its place in society. Where do we fit? Where do we fit? Are we just the outcast, or the scum of the family, or the confused ones with psychological issues? Do we need to be medicated? Is there something wrong with us? Absolutely not. What's wrong is we don't understand our power. We don't understand our energy. And often we get stuck in the scorpion energy, which is the stinger and defensive and reactive, hide in the corner energy. I've spent many of my years hiding in a corner, scared to be myself because I'm deep as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And that scares people. I'm intimidating. People are like, oh, she's intimidating. And what's her deal, you know? And it's like, it's not my job to please others. It's not my job to make you comfortable. It's my job to make myself comfortable. And it's our job collectively as Scorpio to realize our power. I mean, we are the tower. One of our cards is the tower, right? In the tarot. Look at the chaos in this card. We understand chaos and the concept of destruction, because we can understand that things need to die in order for new to happen, in order for something to be birthed. There has to be death. We should celebrate death as we celebrate life. It is not confusing. It is part of the cycle and the circle of life. And the beaver has a complete understanding of rebuilding, right? If this beaver builds a dam to protect his home, he works really, really hard and builds that dam to protect, let's say, the heart space or his family or whatever. It's going to, if that dam falls apart or gets, destroyed, it's going to build it again. It's in that constant state of death and rebirth, the cycle, the transformation. You know what I'm saying? And it's our job to tame. This is taming the wind. This card is saying how it's often difficult to tame the voices inside your head. Look at these cards if you can see them. There's a lot of chaos in the mind here. This is the element of air and mind. And I see here how it's a really difficult, like the mind space, right? The psychological aspect of mind, beyond what psychology understands today, beyond science, where we're going in the future, we're going beyond the typical understanding. The mind space is capable of downloading knowledge and information, right? And here I see how we have a difficult time processing in our minds who we are and where we fit in society. We are the ones that understand the darkness. It is our job as a collective, because it has to happen on an individual level to affect the collective. But I see groups and groups of people harnessing their power to help others heal. traumas and psychological issues. The mental health world industry, it is an industry. It's a profitable industry. The mental illness that affects many, many people, 1 in 5 adults to be correct, is ignored and taken for granted. Mental illness is so misunderstood. And psychology and the mind is so misunderstood. And I feel like here it's our job as dark souls, or ones who understand the darkness, to tame our minds so we can open up enough to teach and show people how it's not scary. It's not scary in the darkness, because we have the ability to understand, heal, and grow from this. It's not a place to stay. It's a place to understand. We're getting to a place where, so this is the next step for us. We have the heart chakra here, the Ace of Cups, a new beginning and expressing love. Like, imagine Scorpios rising above their primal nature, which is to hide and be defensive and like, don't look at me, but I'm, really intense, like stinger, like I'm gonna get you if you fuck with me, right? Instead of reacting and living in our primal basic energy, imagine if we could bring in our power. Here's more lightning. Like, here is more lightning. That's just quite interesting to me that this lightning came out. It's like making me see like this jolt of information coming to us, like, oh, that's why I'm here, or that's what we're here. Because I'm just, think of the placement of all the zodiac signs. And you can have Scorpio you could have a heavily Scorpio chart, whatever. Wherever your placement is, I don't really care. But imagine the 12 zodiac signs, and it's like all 11 of them pretty much understand themselves. And then Scorpio's like, oh, we're mystery and the unknown and Pluto and Mars, and we're angry, and like, no, we're quite loving, actually. We just love intensely. And if you don't understand that, that's not my fault. Like, this is an intense, powerful energy of lightning coming from heaven to earth, awakening the heart center. It's like we go from these dark colors to this like vibrant blues and pinks and purples, because it's like we're viewed as deep and dark. But we can take this depth, this darkness, and make it beautiful. We can shine our light that may be misunderstood, but we can shine this light and access parts of our heart and love, and be able to share with society our power, our purpose, our passions, what we see coming from the other side. So the ghost dance, this came out. Like, ghost, this is probably out of all 500 plus, I don't even know how many cards I have, but out of all these cards, this is the only one that has the word ghost on it. And it really, really makes me see. And we also got 5522. So 55 repeated here and 22 repeated here. 5 is about change and chaos of the mind, changing the direction of the wind, the chaos. That's what I see there. It's like flipping that around. And then over here with the ghost dance, 2 partnerships working with the other side. So this could be mediums. This could be working with spirits, working with our angels, guides, whatever you consider beyond this dimension. This is our ancestors. This is what's within our DNA. We have access to this. This is in us. This card's so dark. I get it. Scorpios, we're so dark, right? Well, what we're seeing here is this card with the buffalo also makes me see how it's like ancestral. When I say ancestral, I view our ancestors as part of us within our DNA. I see them as, so we have DNA. And in our DNA, is 90 something percent unknown. Sounds like a Scorpio to me. Not saying we own that part of our DNA. What I'm saying is it's partly connected to us because it's so mysterious, we don't understand it. Just like the ghost, just like the metaphysical. This is our realm. We are the esoteric, we are the metaphysical. And it's our job to go to the deep dark depths of the other side, to show people that connection, how we connect that to here. Because here, the physical realm is the earth realm. So the earthy people, the earth signs, they just are so down to earth. They get it. They're so grounded. They're stable. They understand this realm so well. They just are so, they get it. They get it here. They're just so, you know what I'm saying? I have an earth ascendant, and that helps me a lot with work because that's my projection, right? Well, wherever your placement in Scorpio may be, if it's a dominant center, the dominant placement in your chart, I feel like there's something within you that wants to reach out to the other side and access parts that you want to bring. It's like you want to bring them here and show people, or express this. You want to express, your love. It's so hard. I often, like the music that I listen to, or movies, or the characters I relate to, or whatever. People can often say, you're weird, or you're dark, or how that's not how I see it. Like, people have a judgment of the bad guy, which often isn't the bad guy. Sometimes the bad guy is misunderstood. And then they turn bad, or they go crazy or something. But if they would have had some sort of love or understanding before they went crazy, maybe they wouldn't have turned crazy. That's all I'm saying. But the point of that is, I can see that here. It's like, it's our job to heal society's misconception of mental health and illusions and delusions, and medicating all these people for nothing. Some people need medication. I'm not a doctor. I'm saying some people don't. And some people can talk to ghosts, and some people can see things. There is a lot more going on than the grounded physical reality that we're in, that we perceive as the absolute. It is only a part of the equation. Over here, I have all this fire energy. So we're often misrepresented as fire. People often perceive us to be fire. And this fiery energy coming out is only I don't know the word. But you see this fiery energy coming through. This is the advice from those that are guiding and helping us in this message, this understanding. And it's like very powerful. So the Scorpio is a very powerful sign. We have the ability to obsess and dissect really difficult, deep, dark information, right? Well, it's like all the details, all the parts that most people maybe overlook, or they can't get that deep. They can't get that deep into the psyche, because it's really mental health. Like, this is mental health and trauma and psychological issues. This is really dark stuff. Like, that's what we're seeing here, and we're seeing that be healed. This is about healing that space and not shunning it as bad. And here with the King of Wands, it's like cultivating and capturing that essence and harnessing it to be a power and to be a pursuit. Almost like, not necessarily, I guess it could absolutely be specializing. So this could be like, this advice could be like getting a degree in psychology and starting your own business to counteract the way society has done mental health, and start your own business and do your own thing. Like this is, because this is a creative king. This is the king of that suit. It's like, and here's also, this is more fire with the golden egg under there. So the cheetah, I didn't even notice. Look at all that fire. I'll try to do it closer. But it's like harnessing the element of fire, because even though we're not fire, we obviously can handle it pretty decently for us to constantly be misunderstood with that energy. And you know what I really think about Scorpio is we are great at harnessing all the elements, the alchemist, because, and I'm not saying other signs aren't. There's other signs that have amazing qualities about them. Absolutely. I mean, we're all 12 signs. Everyone has every sign almost within themselves. So it's not about Scorpio being the best. It's about Scorpio. This is our element. Our element is the fifth element. Our element is knowing that all the elements are there to be alchemized and taking action towards that passionate, fiery energy and creating a new understanding of psychological, mental health, the psyche, the mind space, which is very, very misunderstood. We have people in this world right now. This Two of Swords here. This girl's so lost, so back and forth. She needs so much help. And I get this card can be this can be simply, oh, you're just stuck in your head, get out of your head. I hear that all the time. Oh, you're just stuck in your head, get out. Dude, you don't understand. Like, being stuck in your head isn't always just that simple. It's not always like, oh, I'm just stuck in my head. That's such a surface understanding of being stuck in your head. Sometimes you're so far and deep and dark into portals and rabbit holes that you've jumped into that you're so far that you don't even know where you are anymore. You can connect everything. Like, you can literally hear something and connect it, and just so much psychological stuff is happening that you're scared, you're in fear, you don't know, like, everything becomes reactive, and it's really, really scary. Like, this is not just get out of your head. I hate hearing someone say, oh, yeah, you'll be fine, get out of your head. All right, bye. Like, there was a time in my life where every single day I woke up so terrified of life in general because of how bad my mental health was. I was so deep into my psychological construct. I was going through a rebirth, and one of the biggest rebirths I've ever experienced. And I had to take myself really deep into my own psyche. And when I was there, I went and had therapist and went to a psychiatric hospital, all these professionals, right? My family, anybody that could help me. Like, I just needed help. I needed a break from the world, and I needed help for real. And no one could help me. Nope, not the professionals. I mean, I dialing numbers on the phone, everything became complicated. Like, it was so, everything in this world, and it was just too complicated, too difficult. This is the Earth card as well. This came out with the Hawk and the King of Wands. And here, this is Mother Earth. This is the representation of the elements of, like I said, with our ability to harness the alchemizing of the elements of the esoteric. And I see it as, I see a new way. I see a new way that hasn't been adopted yet. It's because the Scorpio is about the unknown. Like, we have to open a door to the mind and to psychology and to the psyche. And this goes for really everyone. But I really see Scorpios out there suffering more than others because of how complicated it can be sometimes to understand what we don't understand, right? And then who do you talk to about it besides your imaginary friends or your ghost or the things you see in the corner of your eye all the time? And I feel like that's what's happening here is we're going to be able to, once we, one, face ourselves, acknowledge this is who I am. This is me. Accept me. Accept me for who I am. Taming our mind space, getting out of this energy. And I get it. It's quite complicated. It's not easy. This is not an easy energy to get out of. It's hard. It's very, very hard. And not becoming defensive and reactive, but literally going through each death and rebirth as a new person, a better person. Don't die and be reborn a worser energy or some. Don't feel bad. Like, grow and expand. Harness the Sagittarius energy of growth and expansion. The Jupiter, where's your Jupiter placement? How do you grow and expand that to get to your heart space? How do you ground yourself? When do you go outside and connect to the earth? Because Scorpio needs to be grounded, needs to be, like, I need a lot of extra cleansing. I need cleansing, okay? Because everyone's energy, I absorb it constantly. And I have to learn how to alchemize. I have to learn my ghost dance. I have to learn how to speak to the other world. We all have to learn our connection to that space so we can bring action. That's what this is all about right here, is bringing action and being able to sift through the details so we can bring forth something new. Bring forth something new that has never been seen before. Understood, like, to date. We haven't understood this energy. But it's the power, like, you have the power to harness this. You're flying above everyone else, like, looking at things maybe others aren't seeing. And he's so focused. This is that intense energy of, like, why are you so intense, bro? Because I see into you. Because I see into you. Like, I see into you and you and you. And I can see your soul. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I want to change it. I want to help society be different and be a better place for everyone, not just those who are normal. Normal. Remember, that doesn't mean real. But we have the smoky mirror here. Okay. So that's that. I'm going to read this smoky mirror. I just keep getting more messages. Make sure you're meditating. That's always a very important thing. Make sure you're nesting, resting, meditating, and finding time to connect to your heart space and the earth. Oh, I did want to read this one. Because in order to calm your mind, wherever your mind space is, and to rebuild from whatever horrible ending you had or have been having over and over again, because I don't feel like it was one, I feel like it was many. This transformation process is going to take effort. So also the squirrel here, squirrels, what do they do? They're chasing acorns all day long, hiding them, only finding 20% of what they put in the ground. That's what they do all day. They're just, they're not that smart, honestly. But maybe they are, who knows? But I don't think they are. And they're conserving their energy as well. The way they twitch, you know how squirrels are, like, really twitchy? I don't know. That twitch is actually, like, something that makes them preserve energy. Like, you would think they're using a lot because they're, like, really fidgety, which makes me also think of, like, a crackhead. And I'm not saying crackheads are bad. I'm saying drug addict. That's what I'm saying. Drug addict. So I'm thinking of a drug addict here, going back and forth, cycling, trying to rebuild. Oh my gosh, I didn't even see that. This is absolutely that energy of a drug addict. Drug addict. I'm not judging you at all. But let's say there's like a drug addict going back and forth, rebuilding, constantly rebuilding its life, trying to, wow, this really relates to someone I know. Trying to tame the voices, tame the, like there's a lot of that happening, like a lot of mind space trying to tame it. And you need to go outside in nature. You need to ground yourself. You need to get into some, if you can touch natural water and get your feet in the dirt, rub some dirt on your hands, like literally like wash your hands in dirt. Because there's a lot of illusions in front of the truth. You're not seeing the truth. But the truth is in there and it's trying to come through. The truth is trying to come through. So this is at the bottom. This is the smoky mirror. Also, I have another channel where I don't do tarot. It's Jasmine's Universe. It's in the description. And if you could go check that out, where I talk about really cool stuff. Yeah, that's there for you. But just for tarot, that's what this channel is for, the smoky mirror. This is like the moon card, if you know anything about the moon card. It's about being in the darkness, not being able to see, heading down a path you're not sure of. It's the unknown. You're going anyway, though. You're heading in the dark. And you should be proud of yourself because it's a really difficult thing to face. It's like, if you can see, it's like this Buddha figure, which is like a meditative figure looking into the water. Because before mirrors, the way that we saw a reflection was water. And when we do that, we can face ourselves. We can face our darkness. We can face the dark and realize it's not bad. So the smoky mirror represents the aspect of what is implied yet cannot be immediately known in the world. The mystery of how things come together and how they fall apart without obvious casualty. This symbol also represents the shadow of the human psyche. Oh my gosh, come on. The parts of the self that one disowns. The smoky mirror can also represent a state of denial or the inability or refusal to see the truth. The invitation is when the symbol of the smoky mirror appears. You're invited to see beyond your own self. Acknowledge that, past the limits of your current ability to perceive, there is a vast, interconnected world where events are orchestrated in divine order but challenging to fully grasp. Now is the time to trust that no matter what, the current conditions of your world reflect in the hidden realms. All aspects of the human journey are celebrated. The beauty and the darkness, the misery and the courage. No matter what you are, no matter where you are on your journey, know that some things are meant to be a mystery, which you are meant to understand only through experience. Take heart, for the smoky mirror will ultimately show you beauty and wonder once the fog lifts the distortion you see now. The medicine is understanding the shadow of the human journey requires that you go deep into your story to discover the wound that prevents you from seeing the truth of your current situation. Your fears and expectations of disappointment and unworthiness may be clouding your capacity to see the potential in yourself and others. The smoky mirror may be showing you things you don't want to see as a result of your conditioning. These can become even more real, but only because you are making it so. The choice is yours. The world will hold you accountable for what you see and create. Can you see through the eyes of truth and faith instead? That makes perfect sense to me because, like I said, get out of your head. There's something in your mind space clouding your psyche and your judgment. And you have the ability to see in the dark and connect to things that others may not understand around you, which may be really hard. You may feel really alone. What I've learned is you're not alone. We're never alone. That's why when you are alone, you feel like something's there. That's why that scary feeling's there. And then that earth element. This is so not Scorpio unless you just like look at the intense eyes on it. I feel like that's maybe what that is actually. It's really cultivating, like going from the process here of taming your mind, focusing forward, looking into, it's like she's looking into the dark here, like into the ghost world. So it's like she, even though all that chatter's going on around her in her mind, she's looking at that ghost, that ancestor, for advice and guidance and help, seeking wisdom. That's the 5-5 and the 2-2. And then we have the earth, bringing that to earth, bringing that to the physical world, being able to understand the darkness and express that truth in some sort of creative way, whatever your creative way may be. Excuse me. So it could be obviously expressing that through art, music, passion, but you could also create a business. Like, this doesn't have to be just a hobby, or maybe you make money off your hobby. This could be many, many things, but that's what I see. So that's what I have. Definitely go check out my other channel in the description, Jasmine Universe. Like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel so I can help reach other people that need to hear the message. But thank you. I really appreciate you for watching. That's all I have. Bye.